Hello, welcome to my Guardian Tales gear guide. I have uploaded quite a few guides, and if you find any of them helpful, or if you find this one helpful, please make sure to subscribe and like if it really helps you out. It also helps the channel a lot, so please do so. I'm going to be covering the basics of gearing and the basics of what are good equipment. This won't be all too in-depth, as there are far more in-depth gear guides available on the official Discord. This is just short and efficient for people who just want something quick. For weapons, here's how you want to do it. For weapons, you're going to want DPS EXs. For DPSs, you're going to want their EXs, as that's their job to do damage, and a character's EX will 99.9% of the times always do more damage than a random weapon. There are a few cases, but those are endgame cases like raids, where Andras with Kamael EX on an Earth team does better with Kamael's EX than with hers. But that's a late game example. It's not something that applies to you, and it's not common anyways. It's super rare actually. But for DPSs, you want their EXs. If you don't get them, just run something, generalistic until you get them. But you really, really want them if you can. For healers, it also doesn't matter, actually, because their job is just to heal. You're going to get mostly the same stats, mostly similar heals off of something like Emma. As you can see, this is only a minus 3% on my heal stat. However, she does get a bit more potency in her heals with her weapon special passive that only applies to her. But it really doesn't matter. For a healer, you can generally just slap on any decent weapon that has good healing stats on it. Tanks, it also doesn't matter, as Ogma could be running any toughness sword. It does not matter. This example applies to pretty much any character, right? We can look at, Future Princess here. It doesn't matter. Having her EX obviously makes her a stronger lead unit. Having her EX obviously makes her a stronger arena unit. But unless you are doing arena actively with her, you don't need her EX. You really don't. You can just slap on a good toughness shield, such as, for example, if you're running her lead, Mirror Shield is a good option, but her weapon doesn't matter all too much. Now, what about other healers that's not Maya or not Future Princess, or tanks that are not Future Princess? Aoba can realistically just run any bow that gives her a heal stat. It doesn't matter. If you have her Legend EX Oberon, she'll get more healing, sure, but it doesn't matter. However, their accessories and cards and merch will always matter. You cannot go away with ignoring their accessories, cards, or merch. They are all vital to a character. So for example, Kamael here, let's look at his stats. 70,000 DPS and essentially 250,000 toughness. Let's just take off his accessory, right? That drops quite a bit, doesn't it? He loses 4,000 DPS and essentially 110,000 toughness. He is so much squishier than he would be without this. Let's even just slap on something that's less strong, right? A random Wolfring. Sure, his DPS loss is now about 2,000, but his toughness is still about 80,000 less. And a lot of the reasons why characters are dying for a lot of people is because they're not leveling up their accessories or using proper accessories. So there's quite a bit of a stat difference between a fully leveled up 87 accessory or a fully limit broken level 92 accessory and a level 1 or 40 accessory. There's significant jumps between each and every one of those. Cards also matter quite a bit, as this is 10% additional attack, or for Ogma's case, it's 14% additional defense. Merch starts playing a role as you start progressing deeper and deeper into the game. For example, this Aoba's Eye Mask is providing Kamael with primarily and most importantly Earth type attack by 20%, or in Claude's case, it's increasing his attack by 12%, in addition to increasing his damage by 20% to enemies that have more than 40% health. It's making quite a big difference. That's how important gear is. Now, let's look at gearing wise. What are some... I won't be covering the weapons, as they're not all too important and you can substitute quite a lot of things for them. I'll primarily be covering shields and accessories. Accessories are pretty much the most important thing to any character, as that's generally the most easy thing to do, and every character needs an accessory. Let's start off with shields, as that's quite short. So early on, there's going to be 3 shields, I think, that you can just comfortably go for. The first one off is going to be Wyvern Shield. then it's going to be Tanker Shield, and the other option is going to be, if you're using Future Princess, is going to be Mirror Shield. If Future Princess is your lead, the 10% weapon skill regen off of this is quite helpful. If you're running a tank, whether it's Craig, Ogma, or even Future Princess, once again, Tanker Shield or Wyvern Shield do perfectly well. You can even run Night Shield, but the other two shields are much better. Once again, these are early game options. As you progress, you're going to be wanting Minotaur Shields. It's pretty much the best in slot option. You can even go into Aegis Shield later on, but that's Camazon points wise, and generally it's going to take quite a while to get to 80,000 for a new player. Captain's Mirror Shield is also quite good. However, this is primarily for Future Princess or Gun Ogma. And Gun Ogma is really a mid to end game thing. And Future Princess lead is generally not that common anymore unless you get really shafted on your pulls. That's pretty much it for shields. Now let's talk about accessories. I'm going to start off with tank accessories, as that's pretty much easily the shortest list. You pretty much have 4 options. The first 2 are early game, easily accessible options. One's going to be the Black Crown Ring, and the other one is going to be the Ring of Fortress. These are going to be your tank accessory options, as they provide quite beneficial stats for a tank, increasing their defense, HP, even providing, some damage reduction here and there. However, that's not our useful stats. You primarily get them for the HP and defense and the base defense that they provide. Now, there are 2 mid to end game options. You have, not Minotaur Necklace, I meant Mad Panda Brooch. Mad Panda Brooch is pretty much the best in slot tank accessory. It's super good, it's super strong, it's super durable, and it's relatively easy to obtain through Colosseum medals. The other option is Earth Necklace. This is either you get really lucky in gacha, or you get really lucky in weapon evolution. Not weapon evolution, item evolution. Both cases are complete RNG factors. There's, veterans that have been playing pretty much since almost day one that don't have an Earth Necklace. So you can't really gamble on it. You can't hope for it. If you get it, you get it. It's really nice. It makes your tanking a lot better. You can even use this on DPSs. However, I don't recommend it on a tank. I actually recommend you to use this on a DPS or even a healer, because while it is a defensive accessory, it's not for tanks, as it doesn't really provide a base defense increase. While yes, it does provide defense decrease negation, other tank accessories, in my opinion, like Mad Panda Brooch, are much better. And next, we're going to talk about healers. Healers also don't have a large pool to access. Your pretty much best in slot item for early, mid, heck, even late game is just going to be an Ocean Earring. It's super easy to slap on, super easily affordable. You can get one, I believe, from a certain story stage. I don't remember which, but it is quite free. If you don't have access to that, you can early on just use an Angel Necklace, or even, I don't believe there is another solid option. Yeah, Angel Necklace is pretty much your only other solid option there. So you either go for a Ocean Earring or an Angel Necklace. Endgame, I know some people are going to ask about these mirror accessories. They're not good free-to-play options in general, and they're not strong options for new players at all, because they require quite a lot of investment with option chain stones and option lock stones, and you're not even guaranteed to get anything good. And they're not easily obtainable either, because primarily if they're fully limit broken, they're great. If they're fully maxed out, they're the best in slot accessories in the game by quite a long shot, actually. However, once again, you won't be accessing these until you're at endgame or you're a whale. You can also run Earth Necklace on your healers, but once again, it's a complete RNG accessory that you shouldn't hope for or expect to get anytime soon. Next up is probably going to be the longest segment of the video, which is going to be the DPS accessories. Now, DPS accessories, your early game options are quite a few. If you can get a Sniper Goggle, it's nice. However, a Max Limit Broken Sharpshooter is better than a Max Limit Broken Sniper Goggles. So I'm just going to lay your options out straight up. You have access to Sharpshooter. You have access to Golden Pocket Watch. You have access to Greed Earring. You can even run Ring of Greed, but Greed Earring is better if you don't have the other things. You can even run Crescent Moon Earring. You can run quite a few options. Once you get into legendaries though, that's where they're really weak. For DPS accessories, your legendary options are so much worse than your EX options. But you're primarily going to be focusing on two things: your sharpshooters and your gold pocket watches. You can have 1, 2, maybe even 3 pocket watches fully limit broken with solid stats, but sharpshooter you're going to guaranteed want at least 3 of, no matter what. Golden pocket watches, it's safe to go for 1. You can go for more if you want, but 1 is kind of all you need as it's for your lead. Sharpshooters is going to be for your sub slots, and 2 or 3 is going to be super optimal once you start transitioning into the later parts of the game. Sure, there's stuff like Crescent Moon Earring, but these all pale in comparison to the DPS increase Sharpshooter provides or the lead DPS increase Golden Pocket Watch provides. They greatly fall in comparison to the level of strength. I'm going to talk about Minotaur Necklace now, which is a mid to end game, and it's technically also really strong, but I think for some DPSs, Sniper Goggles maxed out fully limit broken might be better. However, they're both really strong, solid contenders that are absolutely great to have, and you can start transitioning into them once you start getting more of them. And yeah, I think that will be it. I'm going to talk about the mirror accessories once again. Ocean Ice Queen Ring isn't a mirror accessory. It's similar to the Earth Necklace in all forms, except it's for specifically water type units only. But it also has that issue of being complete RNG, where you either get it from the gacha or you get it from weapon evolution, which isn't. Both are complete RNG lock sacks regardless. Mirror options are they're just not. Look at how many sub options you have. If a lot of these were main options, if the HP, defense, and the skill damage and the weapon skill regen speed were all main options, these would have been absolutely insane accessories no matter what point of the game you're at. However, you can remember, you can only lock one sub option, meaning you can lock as many main options as you want to. If you get 27 defense and 15% attack, kudos to you, man. Congrats, you hit the gold jackpot. You can lock them, but you're going to be rerolling for the sub options for quite a long time. So let's say you're lucky enough to get defense, fire type attack, and weapon skill regen speed maxed out. You're going to have to continue investing option change stones to get to HP, defense, and skill damage even remotely decent. But that's assuming you get those 3 important stats maxed out first. Most people, it will take them dozens and dozens of option change stones to even get to 1 or 2 max, especially considering how horrible sub options are to work with. Just don't go for them as a new player. They're going to be an option change stone sink that's just going to give you very little benefit for the amount of resources that they require. Another part of enhancing your weapons and increasing their limit breaking is going to be in this enhanced tab down here. Hammers used to not stack, and it was quite a large annoyance before, but now they do, and each one of these hammers provides you with a certain amount of EXP for your weapons that you can use for enhancing. Your epic limit breaking and legend limit break hammers act as dupes for either epic EX weapons or legendary EX weapon. They don't act as a weapon themselves, but they act as a duplicate when you are limit breaking them. There's going to be another important part of this actually, and that is going to be your book. Whenever you get an item, you don't want to extract it, or you never want to sell items. You don't want to extract it or trash it or do anything of that sorts, or even, spam evolve it until you start filling out some of these collection bonuses. So for example, let's say I were to get a Dryad sword. I'd want to evolve it to 5 stars before maybe extracting it and getting the collection bonus that way first, because who knows when you may get them again, or who knows if you'll actually even get them. Anyways, yeah, I think that'll be it. If you want to see an even more in-depth guide, you can check on Discord, or I can post another video if this gets enough support. But yeah, that will be it. If you found this helpful, subscribe, like, and yeah, I'll see you all later. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below if anything of this video disturbed you or you found part of it specifically helpful.